What's up everyone, welcome back. So I want to do this video and just talk about what I actually think happened in episode 3 of the Acolyte in terms of the events that took place at the end of the episode with all the fire in the mountain and all the dead witches. Some theories that I have around it, some stuff that I've seen online, and just sort of talk about what we think could have happened, what we believe happened, and sort of try and debunk some stuff that we kind of maybe thought or still think. I mean, right now we have no idea because we haven't got to see any of the future episodes, but I have rewatched that episode last night and I do have some new thoughts on the episode, and what I believe has actually happened in that last section of episode 3. So let's get into it. So as we know, in episode 3 at the end, there's a whole big event that takes place with this fire that gets started by May. Now, the episode, for me personally, watching it at the time, comes across that they're trying to show that May has created this fire and it's quickly started to burn through the mountain, and it's just got so out of hand that it's ended up blowing up all the interior and it's killed all the witches. That's kind of what it came across like to me at the time of watching it. But obviously there's the question of like how, though. It makes no sense. So it can't. I mean, look, it could be that. It still could be that. I really hope they're not going to do that. And I watched the episode again last night. So on a second watch, there's a few things that I noticed, and I don't believe that is the case now. I don't think the writers are stupid enough to believe that this little fire would create this mountain to start to crumble and kill every single witch. So there's two theories that I think that I've also seen people talk about online, and I think that these are the two best theories to think of. One of them, I believe, is the actual case. The other one I don't believe at all, because it seems a little bit too far, well, it seems really far-fetched and too stupid. There is the third theory that obviously May actually did start the fire and that killed everyone. I don't believe that is the case right now. The first theory is that May has just gone completely apeshit, lost her mind, gone upstairs, and for whatever reason unknown right now is that she's just wiped out and killed every single person that she's ever known, and she's just gone crazy and she's just unleashed this crazy power that somehow managed to kill every witch. And that's basically what's happened. The second theory is that the Jedis have come in and killed everybody. But there's a few ways to think about how this could have happened. You know, so the Jedis could have been waiting for Osha to pack her bags and get up and leave. Then the witches could have been like, she isn't leaving. And then they confront the Jedi and say, you're not taking her. And then they get into some fight and the Jedi have to defend themselves and they just kill everyone. Now, this would be the best. I think that's the best way to look at it, and I hope that that is the case, because then it makes sense as to why everything's like blowing up and how everyone's dead. It really is the best way to really see this, I think. But then again, it depends how well it's executed. You know, if the Jedi just come and start slaughtering everyone, if they just go, you aren't taking the kid, but they're not trying to like fight the Jedi, but the Jedi go, well, tough shit, we're taking her, and they come and start killing everyone. That's going to be controversial, because the Jedi, to be shown in that light, that's pretty much like the dark side, to just go in and just murder everyone. I don't think that's the case. For me, I think what actually has happened, and there is a clue to this, that there has been some battle or some fight of some sort, is that I think the Jedi have been waiting for Osha to come up, and the witches have said, you aren't taking her. And it created this confrontation, and Coral has basically just tried to kill the Jedi, because if you think about what happened when the Jedi first arrived in the ceremony, in this ascension ceremony, the ritual, whatever they were doing, she wanted to fight the Jedi, and Anastasia, I think her name is Anastasia, the other witch, the other mother, she was like, no violence. So maybe the Jedi have tried to come and get Osha, and Coral has just gone, you're not taking them, and then created some sort of confrontation. They all got into a fight, and the Jedi had to defend themselves and basically kill everyone. Now, that's what I think's happened, and there is a clue to that, which I didn't notice until I watched it on the second time through. Basically, Torben, you can barely even see it, you kind of got to look out for it, but Torben on the ship at the very end, once Sol has rescued Osha, you can see that Torben has a scar across his face, which obviously we see that later on in the present day, which we've seen in episode 2, I think, where Torben's meditating with his Jesus of Nazareth fucking cosplay beard. He's floating there and he's got this big scar. And obviously he does kill himself straight away. Like there was no thinking about, no messing about, just deep meditation for 10 years in a cosplay Jesus suit, and wakes up and sees a bottle of potion and goes, yeah, alright, fuck it, good night. So he clearly has some grief and guilt over something, which we were kind of wondering, like, why would a Jedi do that? Why would he meditate for so long and suddenly come out of it and see this girl and then just drink a potion to kill himself? That's another thing that I'll talk about in a moment, because that also kind of doesn't really make sense to a point. Yeah, I don't think it really does. But anyway, obviously something's happened with the Jedi in that moment. Torben's got a scar on his face on the ship at the end, and in the future he kills himself straight away. So something has happened, and that's why I think that the Jedi have definitely come in and they've wiped everyone out and killed everyone basically for whatever reason. And I just hope, if that is the case, which I hope it is the case, I hope that it's executed well. And I think that is the problem with this episode, as well as many other things that I personally just have with episode 3. I feel like it just wasn't executed well enough to kind of give the viewers this interest as to, like, what has happened. Instead, I feel like it left myself, my friends that I've spoke to, and people that I've watched talk about episode 3, it left the majority of people that I've seen in the same mindset as to, like, what? So, like, that's Fire's created all this? Like, how? It makes no sense. Because there was no, like, clue as to, oh, maybe something else is going on. And this is what I think they should have done. And this isn't, like, a perfect idea. It's just kind of in my head, if I think about what I would have liked to happen in this episode, to give me a bit of excitement to see, like, what happened here. Like, ooh, that's exciting, I want to see more, I'm interested in this, instead of being like, that's fucking stupid, like, how is that's the most ridiculous thing ever. But I actually think that what they should have done was, okay, so let's say Osha and May, in the moment where they're downstairs, they're having that confrontation where Osha is trying to leave to go with the Jedi and May doesn't want her to leave. Let's have that same scenario. They're arguing. May's going back and forth with her. They're trying to, like, fight each other off. So Osha's trying to leave. May's pushing her back a bit. They get into this argument. May doesn't tell her that she wants to kill her, because then that's a bit of a character. That's a drastic character switch from moments ago saying I love you. It's a bit weird. Also, it is a sister. They're like these twins. They've grown up together. It was a little bit too, like, really? All right, okay. But let's just say they have this thing, right? And the fighting back and forward. Then all of a sudden, you start hearing this commotion going on upstairs, like maybe some shouting and screaming going on. Both of them panic and look, and Osha tries to still, like, run up to see what's happening, but May just sort of shoves her out of the way, pushes her, and grabs the book out of her hand. She runs out and she closes the door to still make sure that Osha doesn't leave, but she doesn't want to kill her necessarily. She's just like, you're not leaving, I'm gonna go and see what's happened. Then she sets fire to the book because she's jealous. She doesn't want anything to do with the Jedi, so she sets fire to the book. Then she just throws everything on the floor, runs upstairs, not really thinking about it, and doesn't realize that could actually kill her sister here. I would have also, personally, if I was the writers and the showrunners, I would have filled that room, the cave room that Osha's in, I would have filled it with loads of material and wood and shit, because in my head, I would have thought, if we're going to try and set fire to the room, I wouldn't just have stone and a fucking massive metal thick door and suddenly that will set some fire, because it just wouldn't. I would have maybe the fire leaks underneath the door, sets fire to all of the material. Maybe there's a carpet, a rug, or some drapes, and all this stuff could have all set on fire and just started leading into the room, which then obviously then puts Osha in all this danger. I think that it should have been thought about a little bit more, but anyway. So then Osha's in the situation. We know that something's happening upstairs because we just had a little hint towards something happening. So then the viewer's going, oh, what's happening upstairs? What's going on? Are the Jedi? Is there a fight? Is the Jedi here? What's going on? Like, we already know the witches don't want the Jedi to take the kids, so already it would pique your interest and be like, oh, are they having, like, is there a battle that we're going to see? Is something happening? So I feel like that would have been done a lot better if there was some sort of hint that something happened. It didn't have to be something big, just a tiny little clue that left the viewer going, oh, what's happening up there? You know, I think that would have been a better way to execute that moment. And then when Osha goes through the hatch into that massive cavern with all the machinery hanging about and there's all the explosions and all this stuff, I feel like that would have helped everyone feel like it made more sense. I know a lot of you, I've seen people comment, and I've seen people comment on other things saying like it made sense that there was the Jedi fighting, but like a lot of us didn't feel that way because it didn't come across any other way. To me anyway, at the time, I was just, you know, sat watching it as it comes, and to me it felt like there was a fire, and then 20 seconds later the whole mountain's blowing up. It just was like, whoa, hang on, hang on, that doesn't make sense. I knew all along there has to be some other explanation for that, but watching it at the time, didn't feel like there was anything. So then Osha climbs out of the hatch. She meets up with May on the metal bridge. May's clearly visibly totally upset, traumatized, and emotional, explains that Mother has died and that everyone else has died, and that she really doesn't want her sister to leave her because that's all she's got left. Osha then asks what's happened, and as May tries to explain, you know, this has happened, then the bridge falls down and cuts off the conversation, which then leaves the whole explanation untold. This would leave a really good start for their story, I would feel, because then we would know that this whole thing hasn't been May's fault. We don't think that May's this evil, murdering, psychopath serial killer from the beginning. Do you know what I mean? It would make you feel more for May. Like, oh my God, she just wanted a sister, but it all got taken away from her. Her family all got killed. No wonder she wants to kill the Jedi. You know, it makes a lot more sense in my head if they would executed it in that way, because then it would leave us excited to see how, when we go past the rooms and all the witches are dead, it wouldn't make you think how. It would be like, oh shit, maybe the Jedi have actually come in and killed everybody. I mean, I just never thought that whilst watching it at the time, because it just looked like the fire happened. So that's how I think it should have been executed, and I just don't think it was executed well enough to give the fans that excitement, unless you really just go back and sit and think about it, and like I did, and I rewatched it, I've thought about it all night, and to be fair, I think that that's pretty much the case. And if it is the case, then that will definitely make me, I don't think I'll enjoy the episode more, but I'll definitely feel a lot better on the show as a whole, because right now, as it was left off at, it just makes you sit back and go, that was terrible, that was really bad. If that's what's happened, and that mountain's just all been set on fire because fucking the little fire that happened downstairs, then it's ridiculous. But yeah, I don't think that is the case. They're my two theories, and it seems to be they're the theories that I've seen other people mention and talk about in some of my comments on my previous video. So yeah, I just thought it'd be an interesting talk to discuss and just, you know, come up with some ideas as to what could have happened, how it could have been done better. I do think that in a later episode we're going to see this fight happen with the Jedi and the witches. That would be really cool. I don't know if it's going to be in the next episode or not, but I do think that that is coming. I think they're going to have to explain it, and I do think they are now after I've watched it and seen that Torben's got the scar across his face. I was like, okay, and then realizing that in the future Torben has got the scar still, and he kills himself straight away. It also makes sense that why May would be so adamant she has to go and kill these 4 Jedi, because they've probably come in and killed everyone she's ever known and taken her sister. I mean, she probably thinks her sister's dead anyway because she fell down, but then, you know, the point is she thinks everyone's been killed and destroyed by the Jedi. So it makes more sense now thinking about it a bit more and rewatching it. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm looking forward to the future episodes. I have hope that the show is going to get a little bit better. Like I said, in the first 2 episodes, I thought they were alright. There was some good stuff there. There was some stuff that I thought was rubbish. It was a little bit boring in some areas, but it wasn't terrible. And we do have this new Sith guy who's the master of May that I'm looking forward to, and I really hope that he's done really well. Yeah, time will tell, and we'll just have to wait and see. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Do you agree on these theories? Do you agree with me or disagree with me? What's your thoughts? I'd love to know what everyone's thinking. Let me know down below. Drop me a like if you enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe if you're new here and you want to see more videos like this. And yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you all on the next one.